Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to show you how to do backend validations with Laravel. In my previous video I have already shown you how to do frontend validation in Vue.js using VeeValidate. If you have not watched that video, the video will be pop up somewhere here in the screen. You can watch. Before starting this video, if you have not subscribed our channel yet, please do subscribe and let's get started. In my previous video I have already covered this how to do frontend validation. Alright, now let's get back to the code. Here in the code, once you submit the form, we'll be calling this method save data. Let's go to the method. In save method, we are calling the employee create route. Now let's go to the route. This is the route and this is the controller we are using. Let's go to the controller and let's find the store method. Here, like currently we are submitting without the validation. Now let's write the validation code over here. For that, let's get back to the browser. Here, now let's search for the Laravel.com. Now go to the documentation. Here under the version, you can select the version that you are using for your project. I'm using Laravel 8, so let's click on this. Okay, now let's search for the validation. Click on this and you can scroll down. Here writing the validation logic, you can see under this you can see this code. You can copy this and let's get back to the code. Here you can just paste it. Here request is calling the validate method where you can pass this parameter. Now here in the request method we are getting different parameters. Let's print them as well. Request all. Now let's get back to the browser and fill out this form. Before submitting this form, let's inspect this and see the network. Once you submit, here we can see the response. Go to preview and here like we are passing the first name, last name, email, phone, city, customer experience, state and gender. Now we'll be validating first name, last name, email, phone. Let's copy this first name and get back to the code. Here instead of title we can give first name. First name should be required. If we need to make it unique, then you can use the unique. If you want to validate the max character, then you can validate with max. Now we'll be using same thing for the last name. So copy this and paste it here. Alright, now duplicate this one. Now let's do for the email. Email should be required and it should be email. These are the rules that we are going to implement. And for the phone, it is required and the digit. We can use the digit of 12. Alright, this is how we can validate the backend. Now let's print this and get back to the browser. Let's try to submit once again. Here we are getting an error. So let's see what is the error. Here you can see the error. Digit does not exist on the validate method. So it should be digits. That is my mistake. Let's submit once again. Now the message is given. The given data was invalid. The phone number must be 12 digits. Here let's get back to this. And here you can count. It is of 10 digits. So now let's add something more. And let's submit this. Now we are getting the different message. If you want your phone number to be only 10 digits, then you can update 12 with 10. So the total number of digits will be 10. And now let's submit this once again. Here you can see we are getting first name, last name, email, phone. If the validation gets success, then we'll see this response. This response we are getting from here. Let's remove this phone number and let's submit this once again. And here you can see the message. The phone field is required. That means it is checking for the required rule, not for the digits. Now if you provide some number, then only it will check for the digits. Now let's provide the incomplete phone number and then submit this once again. Here you can see the different messages. The phone must be 10 digits. It means it is checking for the digits rule. Okay, it is not for the required, because required is only check for the nullable or empty case. If the field is empty, then it will go for the required, otherwise it will check for the digits. If you want to add more, then you can add more rules over here. For the rules, if you want to learn about the rules, then you can go back to the documentation and here you can click on this. All available validation rules are documented here, and these are all the rules that we can use in our validations. So you can see and you can check them. There are other rules we'll be implementing soon, but here you can see the documentation and you can try on your own. Once you get the validated data, then you can submit to the database. But here one thing you might have noticed, here you can see only 4 fields are validated. But once you submit the form, we have passed other field as well. But here we get only 4. This data will be only saved in the database because we have copied this and pasted it here, and those data will only go for the database storage. To handle this situation, you need to provide all the fields that are coming from the form. Here you can provide the city. If you want the city to be nullable, then you can add nullable or empty. And other fields are like state and the gender. Alright, now let's submit this and let's see the result. Here in the preview you can see we have gender, state, city. Okay, those needs to be defined. If you are not going to validate them, also you need to define over here. Now let's remove this die dump and get back to the browser and submit this form. Here still we are getting some error. City cannot be null. So we need to validate that as well, because this should be required in the database field. If you want to store empty data in the database, you have to make nullable. For that, you need to go to the database. On the migration, click on this employees table. If you want city to be nullable, then you need to update this with nullable method. For now, we are going to validate this as well. So city will be required now. Let's submit this, and here we'll see the message. The given data was invalid. It was only for the city. The city field is required. Now let's provide the city as well. And let's submit this. Now we have successfully submitted the form and also completed the backend validation. Let's get back to the documentation once again. Here we can use different approach to validate the form. So this is the documentation you can follow. There are different approaches and different rules you can learn. If you want to manage this validation in different class, then you can follow this one. You need to create the request. Let's copy this. Let's open new terminal and let's paste it here. Here I have created one request. It should be inside the request, and here we have created the store post request. Now we can write the rules over here. Let's get back to the browser and copy from here. This will be the same thing, but it is just managed in a different class. Alright, now let's get back to our controller and copy everything from here. Now let's paste it over here. Let's save this, and here you need to, instead of request, you need to define this store post request. Now here I need to import this store post request. So here use under this app, and inside the HTTP we'll have request and the class name, and just add the semicolons. Now let's comment this code. Alright, now let's get back to the documentation once again. You can scroll down. Here we have done the similar thing, and you just need to copy this to get the validated input data. Okay, now let's dump this one. Let's get back to the browser and refresh this once again. Let's fill off this form and let's submit this. Here you can see we have error. Okay, this section is unauthorized. Okay, let's get back to the store request, and here you can see authorized is false. Let's make it true. Save this and once again submit this form. Here now the given data was invalid. The city field is required, that's why it's showing an error. Now let's do this. If you submit this one, now it should work. And this is how we can manage our validation. We can remove this code and make this controller more clean. Now let's submit this once again. Okay, now the form has been submitted successfully. Now again, let's get back to the documentation. Now I'm going to show you how to customize the error message. For that, you can copy this one. You can copy this method and get back to this store post where you can paste this. And here you can give the custom message for different rules. Alright, now let's do for the phone. So let's copy this and paste it over here. If phone is empty, then I want to show the different message. Phone number is empty. Please provide the valid number. Okay, now let's remove this for now and save this. Okay, now let's get back to the browser and let's remove this phone number. Let's submit this. Here you can see the different message for phone number. Phone number is empty, please provide the valid number. This is how we can provide the different messages. If you want to give the different message for digits, then you need to do the same thing like this. Phone dot digits, and here you can give your custom message. Alright, let's save this and let's provide the number more than 10 digits. Let's submit this and let's get back here. Here you can see the custom message. This is how we can provide the custom message as well. Okay, now let's learn how to display this message on the front end. For that, let's get back to the view file. Here we have the view file. Here you can see the save data. If the results get succeed, then we'll go inside this response. Otherwise, we'll come to this cache where it will show all the errors messages. Here the error will have the response. Let's console this and get back to the browser. Let's refresh this and submit the form. Let's submit this, and here you can see we have the data. Inside data we'll have errors. The city field is required, and the phone number is empty, please provide the valid number. These are the error messages that we are getting for the phone number and the city. So you can console this one as well. For that, response.data.errors. Okay, let's save this and refresh this page once again and fill the form. Okay, let's submit this one. This is how we can get the error messages. If you want to display these error messages, then you can define new variable over here and print them somewhere here in the field. But now I'm doing the front-end validation, so I'll be not displaying them on the side. But if there is any issue, it will show on a pop-up. Here something went wrong, it will show, and you can check on the console if you want to verify whether it's from backend or front end. If there is any issue from the backend, then you'll see this message. But for now, we can validate the phone and the city. For that, let's copy this rule and paste it here. It's only checking for the required. It's phone, and for the city, paste it here, and it will be the city. You should not use the valid email for the phone number and city. It should be is required. So copy this and replace this. Okay, save this and refresh this once again and fill up the form, or just ignore this. And once try to submit this, here you can see we have the front-end validation. If someone breaks this rule, then they'll get the back-end validation as well. Alright, this is how we can do the back-end validation in Laravel. If you have not subscribed our channel yet, please do subscribe. Thank you.